Are you going to do a video about CHANSIRI? No, I really weren't going to. That's why this has been so delayed, because no good ever comes from it, can it? It's only ever bad press. I mean, it's not just filling column inches in local press, it's filling column inches in national press, online, all over. As my gran would say, it's not what a pippy show. Fan engagement, I don't know. You see, you can see the idea, can't you, the nub of it? Open, transparent conversations between clubs and supporters. I can see how some soup somewhere, at the FA, great idea. But not with us, not with him. It's only ever going to end in tears, isn't it? And the timing of it. Plummet middle of transfer window. I mean, have it at end of season. Like a bit of a review, Plummet middle of transfer window. A transfer window where we haven't signed any players yet. And where the manager has said, he's not heard from the chairman. He hasn't spoke. The chairman comes out, he's not giving me a list of players. Have you rung him? No, he can ring me. It's all... I mean, he sits down. I want to be open and transparent with everybody. Welcome. I've got a question. What's your plans for the club? Fucking know what to do with you, son. Right, transparent. Marvellous. The whole thing. Jesus Christ. So he says he hadn't heard from manager since December, 2 days later, a day later, manager comes out, oh yeah, we spoke beginning of January. So, which were he? He's saying he's got no list of players, then Danny's saying, oh, I've spoke with, recruitment team and Mr. CHANSIRI's advisor. I still haven't seen. Yeah. So nobody knows what's happening with players, and yet the next day, turns out there's 2 lads in on trial. Well, who's brought them in? The chairman said he's got nothing to do with it. The manager said he's got nothing to do with it. Who's brought them in? We're not lads brought them along, like we're running a Sunday League outfit. This is my mate, can he join in today? Have you got your boots, son? Sound, grab a bib. What the fuck's going on? Shea Charles gets recalled by Southampton. Then he's on about 1 or 2 can play at that game and this and that other, I've got visions in my head of, General Zod and Lex Luthor. Revenge!
Revenge! Revenge!
What? Oh, and then, because it's always going to go well, this sort of thing, innit? Have you thought about selling the club? No. Would you sell the club? Only if you don't want me here. We don't want you here. I'm not selling the club. I'll sell it if you find me a buyer. Then, it comes out after the event, how much would he want for the club? Well, let's have a look. Our neighbours down the road recently sold 110 million. Recently relegated from Premier League, parachute payments. Good training ground that they can train on, as opposed to ours. Another training ground on the way. On paper, a better squad, 110 million. With an hotel. Marvellous, So bearing all that in mind, what are we worth? A club that doesn't own its own ground. A training ground that the team haven't been on to train on for a fortnight. Dilapidated stadium, but which, as I said, don't belong to us. Let's call it 260 million. For 70%. 70%. Double what they're worth, nearly, for 70%. Why is that? Because I want to keep 30% myself. Losing money hand over fist. I mean, you've got to say one thing. He's chucked his money, and what's he lost? £160 million. If he was to get 260 million for it, which he won't, maybe in an alternative universe he would, he'd be only the man in the history of football who's put money in a football club and come out on top. Nobody comes into football to make money. But if you did, why would you want to retain a stake? Why would you? Why would you stay involved in that? Unless, of course, the stake doesn't all belong to you, unless you've got a couple of backers behind you that nobody really knew about. Or maybe they did know about it and nobody's allowed to talk about it. Speaking of keeping your trap shut, God, Poor old Trevor Braithwaite sat there at that meeting. You know what he reminded me of? He sat there, CHANSIRI. And I'll tell you another thing. Reminded me of our lass. Yeah, did you? You know, when I'm at a wedding and I might be sat there a little bit pissed and starting to get a bit lippy, and our lass is sat there and grabs me under the table. Oh, can you shut up, Noved? That's what he would have to do, weren't he? Okay, shut up. No good can come from it. No good can ever come from these little get-togethers. Like I said, you could go to town, you know, I could have made a 3-hour video just going through that entire transcript of the entire thing, but the truth is we all know what's going to happen. We all knew what was going to happen before, and when it did happen, nobody was surprised in the aftermath. Everyone went, well, yeah, that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? He only wanted 6 players, I gave him 11. Did he want the other 5? And if he didn't, who suggested them? Who sourced them? It's a farce, and it's such a shame it's a farce because huge game against Leeds today. We're still just in them little spots outside the playoffs. And it's a positive. We're a mid-table team. You know, when you go through the squad and everything else, we're a mid-table team. And at the minute, for me, we're just punching slightly above. But when them opportunities come, you've got to take them, you know, and we've got a puncher's chance of making playoffs. So let's be positive. Let's try and be positive about it. But then something like this drops and you think, oh. And then the absolute spanner gets lobbed in from down the road when he says, oh, I won't mind Shea Charles. It's like, oh, fuck off. Oh, he's... So, yeah. That's all I want to say on it, really, because it's just... It's not but bad news all the time, innit? Ah, dear. I think it's a cultural thing, me. It's about power in it and respect and this and other, but... Over here, you have to earn it, don't you? You know, you can't go into a workplace and I'm this and that other, because everyone's going to say, fuck off, aren't they? That's what it's like. Think about jobs you've had. You go in there and start acting Bertie Big Bollocks. It's no one, innit? Everyone, you know, reverential and, don't happen. My father made a good point, actually, when we first got him, and there were some rumours coming out. I can't remember exact details of it. Maybe somebody in office wanted to order a new stapler and had to wait 6 months while it got sent over there and okayed. But my father made a good point. He said, you know, born into a millionaire family, best education, this and other, lad's probably never heard the word no. Do you know what I mean? Probably never heard the word no. And then look at people we ain't got on with. I mean, Pulis's time here was a complete disaster, but let's be honest, what happening on the pitch and everything else, Tony Pulis is that type of bloke. He'll not have it, will he? He'll tell him. And he clearly did tell him. In fact, he did interviews where he told him that we all saw. And Danny, young manager, very keen, intense. And from the German people I know, they are quite direct and to the point, and it brushes up against him, doesn't it? And it's a big learning curve for Danny, you know. Shite situation we find ourselves in as a club and the negative vibes it brings this week. But from his point of view, going forward in his career, whether it's at Wednesday or anywhere else, and eventually it will be somewhere else, good learning curve, because, you know, he's a young lad, 36. He's been a coach, he's been an analyst, worked at some huge clubs, Bayern Munich, national team, so a different game being a coach. When you're a manager, you're having to deal with a different set of challenges, aren't you? Having to manage upwards. And let's be honest, wherever he goes in his career after this, he'll never have an harder job as he's got, having to manage us upwards with CHANSIRI. wherever he goes. He'll never have a relationship that he's going to find as hard to deal with as that. So from his point of view, although it's negative now, it'll be useful experience for him in future. Thoroughly depressing. Still, at least we've got Leeds game to look forward to.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.